Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Dave at Global Preppers or Bearded Prepper Urban Survival on YouTube. Today, as you can see, I'm in my kitchen and we are going to be doing some food preparations today. But basically what we're going to do today is we're going to make bread, okay? White loaf of bread. I posted a picture on my group of bread that I made. Good feedback, people love the pictures and that, want to know the recipe. So today I'm going to do the recipe and I'm also going to show you how to make it with the method. Great skills to have, to be honest. It's like I know qualified chefs that can't really make bread, you know, and obviously in a shit hits the fan situation, you're not going to be able to go to a shop and get bread. So it's a great staple, it's a great skill to have, and I'm going to do sort of an idiot-proof guide today. Okay, so the ingredients we're going to need today is 500 grams of plain flour, 40 grams of softened butter, 7 grams sachet of yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 300 ml of warm water, really important the temperature of the water, which I'll discuss in a moment, and 1 teaspoon of sugar and a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, so that's the ingredients we need. They're the ingredients you can stock up on in your fridge and your store cupboards because they're really handy to have. Right, let's go and have a look at the ingredients, okay? Right, you just about see me there. Right, first of all, we have plain flour. Right, a lot of people when they make bread use strong bread flour. I use all-purpose plain flour because this is going to be easier to get hold of, and I really like the texture of it. Strangely, it becomes like a cakey texture on the bread, which I really like. Okay, so that's 500 grams of flour. Right, 40 grams of softened butter. This is going to be pliable because we're going to make like a breadcrumb mix in a minute, which I'll show you again. Okay, 300 milliliters of warm water. Okay, right, the reason this has to be warm, because basically the yeast, which is our next ingredient, the sachet of yeast, or if you get other yeast, is the warm water helps activate the yeast. Okay, some people put the yeast straight in the bread mix. I don't. Okay, I'm quite old school with this. So basically, if the water's too hot, it will kill the yeast, and if the water's too cold, it won't activate the yeast, and it'll just be flat. It'll be no good. So this is why the temperature of the water is really important. So feel it. I mean, that's tepid at the moment. That's nice warm water. That's perfect. That'd be fine. Sat on the side for like 20 minutes. Okay, so what else we got? We got salt, like fine sea salt. Okay, we got another bowl here, and I have got, where is it? I've got olive oil somewhere. Yeah, so I've got olive oil as well, which I'm going to use to do that. Okay, right, we're going to go on to the first stage. Okay, so let's go and have a look how we do this. I'm hoping you can see this. There you go. Right, so we got our flour. So in with our flour, we're going to put our salt, okay? So salt in with the flour, okay? Just give that a little stir around, okay? Then we're going to put that at the butter, okay? So what we're going to do here, that butter's nice and soft, we're going to get in there. Obviously I've washed my hands before we've done this. Okay, so we're gonna, it's like a crumble mix, so you want to get like fold it like this, so you want all this in, okay? So just literally roughly get that around because we're going to mix it even more. We're going to need it. So this is how you make like a crumble topping as well, with sugar, butter. Ruffle it through your fingers like so. Get this butter in, okay? Make sure that's all in. I mean, look, that's where it's nice and soft. It's gone already pretty much. Right, so we're going to wash our hands and I'm going to show you what to do with the yeast. So let's have a quick look there. I'm still talking even though you can't see me. Okay, right, so what we do, we put this to the side, okay? Then we have our yeast and our water. This is the important part, okay? So we empty the yeast into here. If I can find out how to open it. There you go. Right, straight into the warm water, okay? Then what we want is we want a teaspoon of sugar. And we put this in with the yeast in there, okay? I'm not sure how this works, but it's like the sugar and the salt sort of neutralise each other and it works really well. Okay, so we're getting that there. We're going to leave that for a couple of minutes until we get a foam on it, okay? And then we're going to pour that in. So There we go. Let's move over there. Let's just clean this side. Okay, right. So there we go. Right, so what we've done is that you see this foam that's coming up on the yeast. Then next job, we're going to pour this smells very much like beer, into this. Okay, let's have a look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pour this in there now. Okay, people make a well, I just chuck it all in. We're going for old school. I'm not bothered about being too fancy. This is just to keep you alive and make sure. Start stirring that in, like so. Light's very bad in here, but like so, okay, because we're going to use our hands in a minute. Okay, see that sort of stick in there? It's getting sticky, right. So now, get rid of that. Now we're going to get our hands in there. I'm going to hold this up so you can see, okay? So, squeeze that in. Okay, want all that flour, all that dry flour from the side taken in. So let me move down here so I can do it properly. Okay. Right, so that, see it's starting to gather a ball. Now, keep going round. And what will happen is, like, once your fingers, it starts clearing your actual hands off in the bowl. Okay, the more you work with it, it starts bringing that gluten up. Okay. So there. Okay. So what I'll do, right, that's our ball of dough. Oh, nearly fell out. That's our ball of dough. And we'll go to the next stage now. Right, okay, so we've got our dough ball like this. Okay. But we're just going to leave that for a minute because what we want is the clean bowl that we got here. Okay, we're going to give that a little drizzle of some posh organic olive oil. Just a little bit, not a lot, see? Just a little, can you see that? Just a little drip, a couple of tablespoons. Okay, and we're going to leave that on there. And I'll show you why in a second. Right, so we've got our dough here. So I'm going to show you how we work our dough. Right, here we have the dough. So we've got some plain flour in my kilner jar. Okay, just a little sprinkle on top. Okay, turn that over, weigh it all in. Okay, because this is what we want to do to get it sort of like thing. Okay, literally beat that gluten out of it. If it's a bit wet, because this is a bit wet, just get a bit more flour in it, okay? That yeast for the warm water, okay, is going to start getting that moving anyway. Okay, so you can see that, and I'll show you in a minute what's. Okay, so I like to slap it about a bit because that's what I'm like. Okay, so we go round. I want all that flour in. Okay, all the flour off the side. Okay, it's still coming through a little bit wet, so another sprinkle of flour. Okay, it's got to have a little bit of moisture to it, obviously, but if it's sticking to your hand, I mean, you can see this now, it's not sticking. Do you know what I mean? So we're almost there. Okay, well, another trick is tear it. Okay, put it back together. More flour. There you go. Okay, lots of flour, because inside you see it's very wet there. You see it pulling away and sticking. Okay, so we want all that there. So now push in. What you want is you want to literally have a ball that's quite like pliable, like so. So let's have a look. Okay, right, so you seeing that, the way that's moving now, yeah? Okay, so there we have pretty much your bread dough. You see that? I'm going to give that one more little sprinkle of flour, one more knead. A lot of people like really sort of like knead this for a long time, but quite a strong upper body. It pushes a lot of the stuff out. All those bits on the side makes it easier to clean as well. Okay, right, so there, I'm going to zoom in on that so you can have a look. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so there. So that is your bread dough. Okay, so have a little look at the size of it. Okay, so that's the bread dough. Okay, the next stage for this bread dough, get one more knead so it's nice and smooth, is your bowl with olive oil. Okay, so this is going to go in that bowl. Just literally rinse it round in the bowl so it's covered in the olive oil and put it out like that. Okay, so flatten it down. The next stage is going to be the proving stage, so we'll have a look at that. Right, so the next stage is we've got our bread in there, we cover it with cling film in there, okay, and preheat your oven at 200 degrees Celsius for a fan oven. I think it's 220 without. Okay, so what we want to see is this double in size. Okay, so we're going to leave that. I'm actually going to leave it in the kitchen because I live in an old Victorian and it's freezing out here. But literally, you need a warm atmosphere. So like I've got my tumble dryer on, I've got my cooker on, so it's going to be nice and warm in here. So hopefully that will rise well. Okay. Also, get yourself a baking tin with baking paper. Okay, because I don't use bread tins because like I need to be able to use this, you know, not in an oven on a hob or something like that. So it's baking paper, not greaseproof paper, baking paper. Okay, and then now we've got to wait for about an hour for the bread to double in size. Once it's doubled in size, then we can move on to rolling it out, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we're going to take a break and then we shall come back. So we've left that for an hour, okay, just so you know, and this is double the size, okay. So we're now going to knead this out, and I'll show you the technique that I used to do that, and we'll get on the tray and get in the oven. Okay, let's have a look. Right, so I'm hoping you can see this. I'm going to take the cling film off. Like I said, double the size. Right, we're going to put this down on here, right? But what you can see, like, that's nice and risen. Okay. What we're going to do here is really sticky. Move that out of the way over there. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take this air out, okay? And instead, because that yeast is there, we're going to put a little bit of flour on there, because it's a bit moist. Okay, just let's make that. Okay. So what we're going to do here is again, okay, just beat this down again, okay, because we're going to give it one more rise. And I'll show you about it in a minute. Right, so that's not sticking now. You see that's not sticking? Okay, nice slap. It smells lovely already. Right, so what we do now is a trick I learned in the restaurant. Okay, bit of olive oil on your side. So I've obviously cleaned the side. So a little bit of olive oil in there. I can get a bit. That's it. Just a little thing there. Right. So just spread that out. Get a cloth. Okay. So as we're kneading this now, okay, let's bring this camera so you can actually see the process. That's it, right. So we've got some oil here, okay? Here is oil. Let's move it out of the way. So I've got a little puddle of oil there. I don't know if you can see it. So as I knead this in, I'll take a little bit of oil. And you can see that on that side, that's shiny, that's olive oil, okay? Do it again. Round, round, okay? Round, and again. Okay, and all that olive oil on. This is going to give it a nice brown crust, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to shape it. I mean, I personally, like I say, don't use bread tins. I like it flat. And if it's done well, it should rise. You don't want it to rise. It should be about twice the size of that. I mean, you can see it's only a little bit of a dough. So knock that back again, okay? Right, so with shape we're going to go, we're going to get our tray, which I'm going to put on there, okay, and we're just going to make sure that's all tight in, again, and we're going to put that in like a dollop, okay. This again is going to be left to rise again. So there's your dollop, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to leave that for a second rise. Let's see if I can hold that up there. The second rise, and then we're going to mark it and we're going to put it in the oven. So we're back in 5-10 minutes and have a look at that. Right, okay, so what we did is we put this for a second proof, like I said. And now I'm going to see if I can show you that. It's like a big flat disc. It's like doubled in size and it's all full of air. And that yeast has finally worked. So that's what you want. Let's see if I can, I don't want to tip it up and tip it out. So let's see if I can get the camera down to it. And we can have a look. See that? It's like a big disc that fills up the whole tray now. So we're going to mark that and put it in the oven. Okay, right, so we're going to mark this now. Nice big sharp knife, okay, however you want to. Cross, like so, like so, like so. I mean, I don't cut deep into it, I just kind of mark it. So it's like that. Okay, nothing perfect. It's just going to split a bit when it comes up. Let's put another one in there, another one in there. Okay. Now we're going to put this in the oven for 30 minutes. Okay, let's take this back up to me. So we're going to take this up for 30 minutes and then we'll take it out and show you how it goes. Okay, so let's put this in. Okay, right, so now we're going to take the bread out in a second, but get yourself a cooling rack. Okay, and let's have a look. Right, we're going to take it out and hopefully it's all good. Let's have a look. Wow. Right, I'm going to take this out so you can see that I've actually done it. So let's move the phone over. Okay. So that's what we got. Nice big loaf. We're going to put that onto a rack and then we'll have a look. When you take it out, what's that hollow sound in it? Okay. So it sounds like, hear it? Right, so get it on the cooling rack. Happy days. Move out of the way and we'll let that cool down, and that is pretty much it. What we do is, while it's on the cooling rack, turn the oven off, give it a little sprinkle of flour. Let's move out there. And a little sprinkle of flour. Okay. And that will be it. Right, I'll show a picture of it when it's done at the end of the video. And like I say, please like and subscribe to this. I mean, the more subscribers and people that are interacting with the thing, more people get to it, the more I can do. Okay, so hopefully that's helped people. And I will speak to you soon. It's been emotional. And I'll put a couple of pictures up on the group. Brilliant. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. See you soon.